Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday live stream with Latex Free World Foundation. My name is Pauline Campos. I am Chronically Spicy on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I have a guest today, Joanna Nobadana, who I actually became friends with on TikTok first, and she is absolutely amazing. I'm excited to have her here today. Joanna, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, what you do, your social media, where people can find you,
Sure.
and like about your latex allergy.
Sure. So I love, first of all, that my name really works for this podcast.
You're not even kidding. It's perfect.
For those that don't know, bananas are related to latex allergies. But yeah, so I'm Joanna. I'm 27 years old. I go by Joanna No Banana on social media. I'm most active on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And my whole thing just started as pretty much me trying to figure out what my allergies were and why I was getting increased allergies all the time to new things. And then eventually figured out it was MCAS, POTS, and EDS that were the root causes of all my really problems there. So just advocating for food allergies and other allergies really is what I've been doing for a while. And figuring out that a good chunk of that is related to my latex allergies has been a big thing. When I would say out of latex things, the first thing I really started getting an allergy to was avocado. And you're not gonna like what I have to say next, because my doctor doctor said, oh, if you have an allergy, like just eat how much you can of it, and that'll help with your other allergies. And if you can have banana, eat banana. And I was eating like 3 bananas a day for like 2 years. And it was getting worse and worse. And I took a step back from it because I was like, I don't feel like being itchy for a couple days. And whenever I would try to come back to it, it would just like, well, I feel like I'm more reactive than ever, so I don't think this is working too well. And so I went to see my allergist, and he said, oh, because that's a latex allergy. So yeah, that would make sense. I was like, I feel like that's information I needed from you a little earlier on. The ironic thing is I found out that latex allergies are like that from a pamphlet in his office while waiting for him.
Oh,
for that appointment.
Okay.
So so that was, not funny, but like that's ironic. And latex allergies are pretty rough to deal with. I do think that even though latex and coconut doesn't have the absolute strongest connection in terms of not everyone that's allergic to latex is allergic to coconut, I have seen it a little bit on the list, and I do think that the two are definitely connected in my case.
Let me see if I can figure out how to screen share again, because I want to present. There we go. I'm remembering. I'm getting better. Okay, 1 second. We're going to grab this one and see if that is the one that I want to share. Share screen, because I want to go up on what you were talking about, which is 1 second. Okay, so share. Yeah. Can we see that?
I don't see it from my side.
Okay, 1 second.
But, yeah.
I'm working on it. Chrome tab. I'm pulling up a link from the shares. Here we go. There we go. I'm pulling up a link. This is from Global Allergy and Airways Patient Platform. They globally support and empower patients with allergies, airways, and atopic diseases. And
now I see it.
There we go. And I wanted to, you know what? No, let's stick to brand here, right? Hello. let's go to the Latex Allergy World Foundation website, because that's what we do. Latex Allergy what I want to do is show people the foods that people could, like what you mentioned, avocado and other
banana.
such things.
Yeah.
Exactly. So give me a second. First, I'm going to show this because this one is the one that has, here we go. This one has we're going to stop sharing this one. If my mouse would work. Hi, everybody. Okay, we're going to share again. Okay. I don't know how to
it. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. You're like, oh no. Yeah, I'm like special because I don't know if like I know you can screen share, but I'm still learning how to like go from like one to like another one. Is it showing? I don't see it on my.
Not yet.
Stop sharing. Present again. Hi, everybody. This is an ADHD autistic podcast. Welcome to our world. It's not showing. Okay, so I'm just going to go over the list then. From latex cross-reactive foods, we have avocado, we have banana, chestnut, and kiwi. Those are the high latex proteins. So banana is on the highest in the highest tier for cross proteins between. There we go.
I got it.
There we go. Between cross proteins between banana and latex, and also avocado. Moderates is apple, carrot, celery, melons, papaya, potato, and tomato. And then low or undetermined.
Coconut made the list.
Right, exactly. We've got apricot, buckwheat, castor beans, cayenne pepper, cherry, chickpeas, citrus fruits, coconut, dill, fig, grapes, hazelnut, lychee. I don't even know what that is, but I know I've had it.
Yeah.
Lychee? Okay, thank you. Mango, nectarine, oregano, peach, peanut, pear, persimmon, pineapple, plum, rye, sage, shellfish. It's like a bad nursery rhyme. Soybean, strawberry, sunflower seed, sweet pepper, walnut, wheat, and zucchini. So like that's the entire list of foods that share enough proteins with latex that quite a number of people are going to be allergic to at least one, if not more, of the items on this list. And of course, the higher the proteins that are higher amount of protein shared, the more common it is for that to be a cross allergy. Hence, Joanna, no banana. I happen to be Pauline, no avocado, Pauline, no banana, Pauline, no chestnut, Pauline, no kiwi. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Celery I can eat if it's cooked. I can't do uncooked. Like I can do celery in soup, but I can't do celery like raw. I've never ever done that. I know that I react to papaya. And then on the low list, I react to coconut. I have an independent allergy to coconut. And that is pretty. It's like pretty big. Fig I've reacted to. Grapes I've reacted to, which means unfortunately that wine's off the list. I used to love wine, so that sucks. Let's see, mango. I definitely react to that. Pears.
Mango's also. Sorry, mango. I was just gonna add that mango's also a big one with coconut that I see, like mango, coconut. I think that there's some relation between the two.
Okay, then that makes sense. That because like tropical type fruit, pineapple. That makes my tongue tingly, like not the good kind of. Not like the I just had like something that I really like, but not like the spicy Mexican type tingly, but like the. I probably need a Benadryl tingly. We've also got, okay, so is there anything else here? Sunflower seed oil I've reacted to. So I don't do sunflower seeds. And I was told just to stay, I was told that I was allergic to wheat, which is interesting because my husband and daughter have celiac disease. So we were already eating gluten-free at home. And I was still eating wheat for when we go out. Like I'd order stuff with gluten, right? When we go out, and this was like God, forever ago. My daughter's 16 now. I was diagnosed with the allergy when she was like 4. Um, and so yeah, like, but I don't have like a celiac disease like reactions. I get like a rash, maybe like a little bit of brain fog, like some of like the lower level like worry allergy symptoms. And amazingly Benadryl would make me feel better. And I was like, what the heck's going on? And lo and behold, I'm allergic to wheat. Now I did want to point out shellfish for me. And I've noticed this with a few other things on the list. Um, for me, the stuff that I used to eat or that I do eat, let me rephrase this. The stuff that I used to eat that I'm allergic to on this list tends to correlate with the things that I was eating most often. So I don't have like a link or like anything saying, because we're not sharing medical advice, we are just sharing our personal experiences here, and any references or resources that we can lead you to. But avocado and banana I was eating all the time. Chestnuts were like, actually last podcast I was like, have I ever even like seen a chestnut? And like, you know, aside from like chestnuts roasting on an open fire. And I know that I've eaten water chestnuts in like Asian food or like certain salads, right? And I just, since they're not something that I touch, it's not a regular thing for me, I don't miss them, so I'm just staying away from it, right? And kiwi I know made my tongue burn because that was like a fun special fruit for me. But like when we go down to the bottom list down here, like shellfish, right? I know people that's even though it's low or undetermined, I know quite a few people through social media with latex allergy who react to shellfish. And it's either an independent allergy and they have latex allergy, or it doesn't show up on testing, but their doctors figure that it's because of the latex cross, right? And for me, I can still do shellfish, but I think it's because it's a special occasion thing for me. Like, it's expensive, right? So like if you go out to eat, it's like, you know, a plate of crab legs or like shrimp, and you add shrimp to anything, you get like 5 shrimp for like $2 each or whatever. And so like, you know, it's like a special occasion, like my anniversary or like my birthday or something, right? So I think because it was something that I was limiting just due to the fact that it was, you know, spendy. I think that's why I haven't built up, or I haven't gotten to the point yet where I am not reactive to it yet. I am, however, aware that that might happen. So I always have my EpiPens with me. I always have my Benadryl with me. And I always have my mast cell stabilizing medications with me, because allergic reactions can actually even cascade for people with mast cell activation syndrome, which is what MCAS, what Joanna and I both have, also. So I have my Epi, my Benadryl, and my mast cell stabilizing medications all with me all the time when I'm eating shellfish, just in case, because I'm aware of like how my body reacts, right? And wine, I mean, what's the recommendation that like women can have like up to 2 glasses of wine per day or something, and like it'd be considered healthy, right? Like I wasn't drinking wine every day, but I was certainly drinking wine on a fairly regular basis. We used to do, as a family, we used to do wine kits, you know, and make your own wine at home, and had a whole lot of fun with it with the in-laws, and you know, give away bottles for Christmas and all the holidays, enjoy a bottle with friends, going out to eat, definitely get a glass of wine for a special occasion. And then, you know, there was I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant because I don't know if I can, but there's an Italian American chain, family sit down restaurant that offers a free sample of wine if you're of age, right, of their house wines, to try and entice you to buy some, right? And I was eating dinner with my mom one time when my daughter was like 3, right? And did I lose audio? Are you okay?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, all right. So I'm eating dinner with my mom and my daughter one time when she was like 3. and I asked for the I tasted the house Moscato, the Moscato, Moscato, I think. And my mom's looking at me, and like a few minutes later, like I am just like flushed, like I sunburn flushed, like tomato red, like all through my like my collarbone area. And she's like, "What's going on with you?" And I was like, "I have no idea." But I hadn't eaten anything yet. I'm like, the only thing I'd done was water with ice. So I'm like, it has to be the wine. So I stopped drinking it at that point. And then it took me until, I don't know, literally like 2 years ago to actually put all the pieces together. Because
Yeah.
kind of like your doctors and my doctors, a lot of us have had our doctors tell us things like, "Oh, it's okay, you can you can still have that, you're fine. It's not actually, as long as you're not reacting to it, or as long as you have your EpiPen, or as long as you have your Benadryl, you can keep it under control." The thing that doctors are missing, and the thing that a lot of people are learning from our shared experiences on social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook and TikTok and YouTube now, is that latex is a progressive allergy. And that's a problem because every single exposure, I'm going to go to the Latex Free World Foundation website, because every single exposure can increase the severity of the allergy for someone who already has it, and can also create the allergy in people who do not have the allergy. Now, and that means, this was from last week. The team made me a little birthday thing, which was nice.
Happy late birthday!
Thank you. I'm a day after Christmas. Woohoo! So that makes it, and like I was saying last week, like it makes it tough because I stay home a lot during the holidays. From Halloween, no, from Thanksgiving to like New Year's, like.
Yeah.
I can't really shop. Like I can't go. I don't go into grocery stores. I don't go into. I'm not going to say the name of the store because, well, I think I can. Target. Everybody. Yeah. So I can't go into Target because they have poinsettia plants too. I can't go into Costco or Sam's. Like if they have a flower section, I don't go in because the poinsettia plants are a big point. And they're a latex cross. And for people who don't know, latex is airborne.
Yeah.
Not everybody with a latex allergy is going to be airborne reactive. I wasn't for a very long time. For a long time, it was just like Band-Aids, like extended contact with a Band-Aid or adhesive, right?
Yeah.
And eventually, because latex allergy is progressive, eventually I got to the point where more and more things started affecting me, right? Like first it was bananas would just make me sneeze. And then it was, oh, my fingers have swollen up so much I can't bend them while I was handling bananas for making my daughter a snack, to having skin reactions when I was out shopping. And as you can see, we're talking about and then boots. I have to go and change out my entire boot and shoe collection to latex free or latex safe options. And so far, the only two that I'm using are Kamek winter boots. That's a style that I have. This is on the Latex Free World Foundation blog. It's my latest blog post. I will have a new one up before Friday's show. And then the Vionic brand, which both are spendy, as you can see. So I am very careful about making sure that I only have 2 pairs of winter boots. I live in Minnesota. So I have one pair. I have these. I've got the snow gems that are like it's freaking minus 40 outside, right? And then I've got another pair that are like it's just a regular winter day in Minnesota boots. And then like these I bought because they're water resistant, so I can wear them in the rain. And I can wear them for walking my dogs, and I can wear them for, you know what I mean? Like every pair of shoe I can't just buy shoes just to buy shoes anymore because they're cute or on sale. If I buy a pair of shoes, it has to be, how many purposes can this pair serve for me? Because I'm going to be spending at least $100, probably $150 on a pair of boots or shoes that are safe for me to wear, because I was reacting to touching the boots and the shoes that I used to have. I had to get rid of my entire Converse collection eventually, and I lived in my Converse. I wore them for everything. So that was that. And then when I lost avocado, like, just, I'm Mexican, okay, like, kill me now. It was not. I was not happy. What for you? How did yours progress? Like, you figured out that poinsettia plants. Like, how like you. I know we were talking before the show.
Yes.
We were discussing like our holiday, and you had said like, well, I didn't really do anything, so I don't know if there's much to talk about. And I said, I think that might actually be something that people can relate to, because I know a lot of latex allergic people are homebound. And I might only be homebound seasonally. But poinsettia plants for me are the deciding factor on that. So like for you, right here, poinsettia plants and other potential holiday triggers. So what about you? Like how because you brought up poinsettia plants and you brought up the holiday. What was your experience like?
So I brought up poinsettia plants actually because of an experience like a few years back. So I was working in an office setting, and they decided to like fully deck out the whole building in poinsettia plants. So like it was like, especially like when you enter through the main door. So I was like going through like kind of like the basement door and then taking the elevator up to try to, avoid it as much as possible, but it's still like all in the air. So at that point, this was like right before everything went down on March 2020. I don't want to say the word because I know certain things. But yeah, I was wearing a mask and things like that, just like in the office, because I'm like, this isn't gonna work well for me. Like I have my 2 HEPA filters in my little corner, but like there's only so much that can do. But yeah, so poinsettia plants are a big one, and especially just trying to go to any store. And also on the list, I think it was on the moderate part of the list, is apples, and there's so many like apple scented things. And as someone like with fragrance allergies, like that's already like, I smell a fragrance, I probably have like either 5 minutes in and out, or I have to just leave right away. And it's not like, I know, for example, like Joann's fabric store during the holidays, I'm just like, that's not doable for me. And even if you do get like the chance to go in the store, if you can't like comfortably be there, it's a very different experience than just getting to like browse or like think through what recipes you want to make that week or things like that. And then to go back a little bit to what you mentioned earlier with the different foods and like different levels of reactivity, a lot of the ones that are on the low scale, that I react to the most being like, awesome, thank you. So like walnuts, cherries, I would say those are like my worst of the two. My cherry allergy has been bad for like a long time. I did not make the latex connection for many years. Like I didn't even know I was allergic to latex, but I was reacting to a lot to like apple, celery. But what I find really interesting is in that low or undetermined latex proteins, I was so allergic to cherry and walnuts, and growing up, I had a cherry, walnut tree right outside my house.
Okay.
And then this was when I was still living in Poland. So we had a big walnut tree. And then we had another house right by us that had grapevines. they looked beautiful. But you know, so like that's another thing that added onto it a little bit. And then my parents had a little garden, and like my tree, and there was like the tiny tree, because I was the youngest, so I was like, this is my tree. It's small, just like me. But it was a cherry tree. So it's just like interesting because another one on this list, I think, let me see, is peaches on there. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm. But when I moved to America, like the house I lived in had a peach tree in the backyard. So it's interesting to me how like the ones in the lower undetermined section that I react to the most are ones that I've just been exposed to on the daily at some point.
And that's actually a really good point, because we're just gonna look this up. I learned this on Instagram, okay? And we're gonna go to swansonnursery.com for this link, because I'm not even gonna pronounce this right. The Quetzalcoatl. I think that's I'm close. I can say some of, like, Xochimilco is a restaurant that I could say, a Mexican restaurant that I could say that's a native word. Quetzalcoatl, I think. But the cultural history of the poinsettia, we've got some irony here for both of us, because you're allergic to things that you were exposed to on a regular basis, more, you know, in your homeland, where you grew up. I did not grow up in Mexico, but my father did, and my mother's parents did. And the poinsettia plant actually originates, according to Swanson's Nursery. It's a Mexican plant from Western Mexico. And it's become like the Christmas flower, right? Which is absolutely nuts. The original Nahuatl name for the plant we call poinsettia is Quetzalcoatl, right? Quetzalcoatl, I think. So there's that, right? So I'm allergic to that. I'm extremely allergic to avocados. I was doing avocado for everything. Right, and that's right over here on the top list. And I was doing, number one, I eat keto. Number two, I'm Mexican. So even before I even knew what keto was, I was like avocado with everything from the minute I was born. I was, they're a great source of all these healthy fats, and they're just, I mean, you know, like I was just, every day there were avocados ripening in my house every day. And my entire childhood was an avocado. And eventually, you know, then when I started doing keto, and I learned that, you know, avocado oil, I'm trying to like balance my fats and my proteins and my carbs, and figure out the right, what works for me. And so we switched from olive oil to avocado oil. So like and coconut oil. Okay, so we're doing, and coconut is also like, I mean, it has a tropical fruit, so coconut is very popular in things like piña coladas, like, and that was my drink of choice when it was fun, when it was, you know, going out on a date when I was dating my husband, when I was just dating my husband, like I'd order a piña colada, and he'd, you know, and he'd laugh because I always had to. I don't speak Spanish on a regular basis, but I can't say words in Spanish without the accent. So I always have the server look at me and go, "I'm sorry, a what?" And I'd be like, "I'm sorry, I meant to say piña colada." And so like that always got like a snicker out of my then boyfriend, and, you know, since husband, right? But like I'm basically and then here's the other thing, the mesquite tree. We lived in Tucson for about 4 years. Okay. And mesquite is very common on the southern border, and it's extremely common in Mexico, right? We had to move. There's a reason we're in Minnesota, because my daughter and we spent 4 years there, and the entire time that we were there, I was going through a box of Benadryl a week. And my daughter was coming home with rashes everywhere, because there is no, I don't care what any allergist in Arizona says, there is no allergy season. Nothing dies there ever. So like even if a plant is not blooming, the pollen is
Mhm.
either on this pile of sand or this pile of sand in the desert. Like it's somewhere. So she had a severe contact allergy to mesquite, and she got diagnosed first, and then I got diagnosed because I was just always looking like at the allergic shiners and like not being able to breathe out of my nose and at appointments left and right. And my allergist finally does a skin test, and he's like, so you need to move. Like that was his reaction when I sit down for the results. He's like, you need to
Yeah.
move. And I'm like, well, what? And I'm like, where? Like what? And he's like out of the like away from the southern border. And I'm like, so why? So he explains to me that the scale of severity went from like 0 to 20 for the
Mhm.
mesquite allergy, right? I hit a 20. And he's like, you need to not be here.
Yeah.
And and at that point, so now looking back, and then the reason this connects is because I and this is just my personal connecting the
Mhm.
dots. I'm not saying that this is scientifically proven. I am just saying that this is why I think it might. It's hysterically ironical, sadly ironical, that mesquite is in the legume family, and legumes are also a latex cross, right? I don't see them on. Do I see them on this list? But I've
Yeah.
seen
Sorry, I
I've seen.
see castor bean,
Oh yes,
soybean,
yes, yes,
and
yes, yes. Okay, so like it did it.
peanut too. Peanut
Right,
too.
right, right. Okay, so I wish it would be, and that's the thing. Like we as humans, we're dumb. Like if it's not spelled out, like there's certain things that are so obvious that we completely miss, right? So like I'm like I don't
Mhm.
see legumes. There's like 3 legumes you just mentioned that are on the list. And so yeah, okay. But like so mesquite is in the legume family because the pods are used for like barbecue and like flavoring chips, and like the wood is used for like firewood and bonfires and whatever.
Mhm.
So now we've got mesquite that is native to not native to Mexico, but prevalent on the southern border and in Mexico. We've got avocado, we've got coconut, and we've got banana is used in a lot of things. Basic, and now the poinsettia plant, which originated in Mexico, and the original name is an Aztec word. Um, I've determined that I'm essentially allergic to my DNA. My cross allergy to latex is me. Hi. Right? Like how does that even happen? My father died 16 years ago, and I 15 years ago, and I so like he and I had like Mexican like sense of humor is like very I don't want to say dark, but it's very it is very it is kind of like a dark humor. And he'd be laughing his absolute ass off, like right like you're allergic to your DNA. Yes, thank you. Like if I'd been born in Mexico, like it wouldn't have just been you have to leave the southern border. It'd been like you need to like move like to a different country. Right, so like it's absolutely crazy, and I don't understand. I mean, I guess we both talked about it.
Yeah.
Like I think it's just because we were exposed to it so much, right?
And then to add on to that a bit, I don't think people realize just how latex can be in so many different things. I
Mm-hmm.
know, different people with latex allergies will have different level of like what they can handle, what they can't. I will say that for myself, before I knew anything about MCAS, I knew I had the latex allergy I would say a couple months prior. And just knowing that, and kind of avoiding some of the things that I was like, oh, that gives me a reaction specifically because of latex. Avoiding some of that, my reactions to some of the things on that list have decreased to the point where I can have them. And it's not something I'll have often, but I will say that my like proud accomplishment of like this month is that I was able to have some cooked carrot.
Oh.
Because as a kid, I was like, I loved baby carrots so much. Like that was like my snack of choice and everything. So I definitely like overexposed myself to that, mind you. But it's nice to even just like on a rare occasion be able to have that. But again, it's so tricky because it's like, well, you don't want to have it because it can make that or other latex proteins worse of a reaction. So I'm not telling people to eat them.
Right.
It's just really tricky because like with MCAS, with latex allergy, with any other allergy, you don't want to take away foods that you could be eating because for both mental health reasons and like nutritional reasons, but at the same time you don't want to consume stuff that's hurting you. And it's like, to be in a position where you have to find like a middle ground between that is definitely like very tricky. And I also say this, a lot of nurses, I forget the statistic, maybe it's like 5% or something off the top of my head, mind you. So I'm like trying to recall that, but a lot of nurses do develop a latex allergy because of how they were exposed to latex in their workplace. Now it's a little different. Now every time that, ever since I realized I have a latex allergy, every time that I go in and I ask about latex, I don't see latex gloves like when I walk into the doctor's office. And one time, the funny thing is, this nurse just came in. She was going to take a blood test for me. And she walks in and, I can tell she's like probably very busy because she's like 1, 2, 3. So she's like coming in quickly. And I'm just like, oh, I have a latex allergy. I didn't have a chance to even say. And she's like, oh, me too. And then she just continues doing her work. Nice. And I was like, oh, okay.
Before I forget, I'm live streaming on. I'm doing a live on TikTok too, and people are only hearing my part of the conversation. So, anybody on TikTok who's watching, please go over to YouTube or the Latex Free Foundation, Latex Free World Foundation website. Facebook page, and you'll be able to join. I've got the link tree for the YouTube channel in my TikTok bio, and you can join us live over here so you can hear both parts of the conversation and you can see Joanna. And if you can't watch right now, that's fine because the video is going to remain up, so you can watch at your leisure. Joanna's, I'm having a blast talking to you because I always tell people like. I did a TikTok once where I was like, hi, if I popped on your FYP page, welcome to the party. I'm so sorry you're here. I'd offer snacks, but you're probably allergic to all of them. So, right? It's great to connect with people and feel less alone, which is one of the reasons why social media is one of the good things. I know there's bad to everything. There's a good and a bad to everything. But this is one of the reasons that I'm grateful for social media, because some of the good that's come from it is people like us have been able to connect. There's no other way I would have connected with you, right?
Yeah.
And there's no other way I would have connected with anyone else who the latex allergy support groups, the MCAS support groups, figuring out from people. I didn't even realize I was having allergic reactions. I just thought because the doctors are using words like urticaria and this and that and whatever and rosacea and all these things that if the condition was the condition that they diagnosed me with, I don't think personal experience, not medical advice. If the condition was a condition they had diagnosed me with, would Benadryl have fixed it, right? And would it have gone away once I removed the offending food, the trigger food, or the trigger item? I've got pictures of what I used to look like. One of my TikTok pinned posts is my worst MCAS reactions, and some of those are tied to having been triggered by a latex reaction first, because your histamine anybody having an allergic reaction, your histamine levels are going sky high, right? And that alone, so that can basically be the first domino that like knocks everything else down, and then you're in a full and then you're in a full MCAS flare on top of having been triggered by latex itself. And no, not everybody with latex allergy has mast cell activation syndrome, but there is a lot of research documenting the fact that people with MCAS are more prone to allergies, and people who have food allergies in general are more susceptible to becoming allergic to latex, right? Mm-hmm. So and honestly, I mean, just looking at these lists, it's just because these are very common foods. I mean, most of them are. Who's gonna think sage? That's like a really common Thanksgiving type, Christmas stuffing the turkey type thing. I grew up like with Mexican Christmas, so like we did like my uncle did like this meat and potato, like ground beef, potato, cumin, like all these Mexican seasonings and stuff. And he stuffed turkey with that. The first time I had American stuffing, the bread stuffing, was after I started dating my husband, and I was like, this is really good. Wow. But like, and I didn't realize it was the sage that like that was giving it all the flavor. And now thankfully I haven't reacted to sage yet. But like I said, I'm aware that these things on these lists could eventually become problems for me, because things do progress. Now, have things continued to progress now at the same rate that they were before I was aware of limiting exposure? No, I things have slowed down. And I wanted to go to, so this is the Latex Free World Foundation the blog post that I have up of the holidays. And so latex, for anybody who doesn't know, is an exaggerated response to your immune system has to proteins in natural rubber latex, also known as NLR, found in a variety of items, including latex gloves, and balloons, and condoms, things that people use for just things people use, and also shoes. Like I see people all the time who are like, I'm avoiding latex, and they think because they don't have latex balloons in the house, and because they're using latex safe alternatives for sexual health protection, and the and that they're not using latex gloves, they think they're safe, because that's what a lot of doctors tell us. That's all we see. Those are the things that we are those are the obvious ones. Yeah. And it takes a lot of Nancy Drew type detective work to figure out there's a much longer list.
A big one for me was actually realizing that the elastic in like sweatpants and even like some underwear, if you have like that elastic there, whatever I purchase clothing wise, my first thing is the elastic exposed? Like, is it straight exposed on my skin? Because if yes, then I'm probably not going to end up purchasing it. And what's also rough, similar to the shoes that you mentioned prior, is that it's like you have to pay more for things to be safe, and then that's not as accessible price wise. But it's like if you're not able to get those things, then your allergies get worse. So it's definitely like a tough situation in terms of that. it's difficult
yeah.
also, even with just reaching out to companies.
Uh-huh.
I have reached out to, I'd say, many companies about just even coconut allergy specifically, because coconut
Uh-huh.
is so common in skincare and makeup. I feel like it's in almost everything.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, so I've reached out, and honestly, most companies like makeup wise have just responded with like the most generic answer of
Uh-huh.
like, oh, we really care about allergies, but this company, at company so and so, we recommend that you ask your doctor if this is a safe option for you.
Yeah.
And then they'll just be like, and if so, like, you can always skin test it at a doctor's office. I was like, yeah, I don't know how cute you think your lipstick is,
Yeah.
but it's not worth a coconut reaction for me.
Yeah.
But it's this thing. I will say there have been companies, very few, but there have been companies who have given me such good answers.
Uh-huh.
And one of those was Fenty Beauty, because
Okay.
I asked them, I am able to do one of their lip products, and I just have it in like several different colors.
Okay.
And
I need to know. You need to tell me which one you're using, because I am so limited on my makeup.
Yeah, I do okay with the lip paint that they have. So I asked them once, hey, do are any of your foundations coconut or coconut, including coconut derivative free? And they got back to me really quickly, and they're like, hey, unfortunately, like, that's not the case, which that's okay with me, because I got the answer.
Yes.
That's the thing at the end of the day. It's not like I'm not going to hold a grudge against them for not having that be coconut free.
Right.
But like, I appreciate the answer. Another one that was really surprising to me was I asked Anastasia Beverly Hills, another makeup company, if a specific lip product, like one that I used to use like a couple years back, I was like, hey, is this specific lip product, specific color, would you be able to verify if it's coconut and coconut derivative free? And they got back to me and they said, hi, yes, this is coconut and coconut derivative free and palm free. I didn't even ask about palm.
Oh my goodness.
Palm and coconut have, from what I've asked around, and so it really seems like about half of the people with coconut allergies also have palm allergies. So yeah.
If I can cut in real quick, I was told, and I verify this for yourself. Yes. Do not, if you are allergic to coconut, and you have a coconut allergy, don't just dive into anything with palm oil, unless you know that you don't react to it. Talk to your doctor, stay safe. But it was explained to me when I asked someone with, because I asked some friends with latex and coconut allergies. I'm like, how come? I'm like, coconuts come from palm trees, and this might be a dumb question, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, coconuts come from palm trees, so how can you not be allergic to the palm tree and the palm oil if you're allergic to coconut? And I'm severely allergic to coconut. And I was told it's because not every palm tree produces coconuts. It's the palm. But the problem is that palm oil on an ingredients list isn't going to specify if it was made with a coconut producing palm or not. Excuse me. So that could be the reason why. And it's really tricky. So as Joanna was saying earlier, and this is from the Latex Free World Foundation. What is latex? I'm on the about latex allergy, and then you scroll down to prevent a latex allergy reaction. Now, it's important, I think, to point out that there is no cure for latex allergy. The only treatment is limiting exposure as much as possible, and it is not possible, as far as I've learned, to completely eliminate latex anywhere outside of maybe like your own home, if you're able to afford to do that, right? Which is why some people are housebound. You're always going to be exposed to latex in some way, shape, or form if you're outside of your house. I mean, your car, the rubber, the car mats, the tires. I'm taking medicine.
You're good.
I can see I'm getting flushed and my voice is doing that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's excitement and MCAS stuff, which is good times. But anyway, so according to as we've got on the Latex Free World Foundation, the only way for people with latex allergies to prevent symptoms is strict avoidance of latex. The Allergy and Asthma Network supports policies where latex gloves are prohibited from use in healthcare and dental facilities, schools, food establishments, and by emergency responders. Many facilities have responded by switching to latex-safe gloves and medical products and supplies. And you can click on learning more on how you can avoid and stay safe from allergic reactions.
Yes.
So how do you prevent a latex reaction? One, you need to be as aware as possible of your potential triggers. And like Joanna said earlier, I've been told, and so has every latex allergic patient that I know, and MCAS, mast cell activation patient that I know, not to eliminate a food unless we know unless we've actually had reactions to it. Because if you're told that you have a latex allergy, and the first thing you do is look at this, and you immediately eliminate all of that without having any reactions to, maybe you're only allergic to adhesive on Band-Aids at this point. There's no, every doctor has told me from the beginning not to eliminate something until or unless I've reacted to it. And, and that comes down to being aware of how you react and what your specific triggers are, right? So like awareness is like the big thing.
And there's also elimination diets, like the way that I went about, because I was reacting to like everything all the time because of MCAS. So I ended up just like doing like a specific meal like for that week and just keep doing that meal and see, hey, what about that meal I feel like was, maybe a problem, what was better about it, etc. And like honestly, so the way I had to do it was like really strict. And I did end up getting like malnourishment issues because I had like 3 foods that were safe for my MCAS, like in the end. And that was chicken, beef, and salmon. And then I realized, hey, the chicken and salmon days, I feel better than the beef ones because beef is higher, a little bit higher histamine usually. And then eventually I was like, oh, I can't do the salmon as much. And I was just left on like plain chicken and salt. And at least I found a salt that was safe for me, which had to be like the one that doesn't have like the iodine, and that's what it's called.
Wait a second. Okay, that one's new for me. Let's talk. Wait. We're all learning together, people. 1 second.
Sure. I want to double check this as I say it.
What do I Google?
Here, let me see if I can find it here, and then I'll let you know.
Okay, because like I'm learning all kinds of new things like right now. I mean,
so when it comes to salt, there are certain things that are sometimes added, like derivatives, preservatives, things like that, which like I'm not sure why, because it's salt.
Right.
Like I thought it would just be okay. But there is in terms of histamine.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. I'll just give the source. So this is a really great source for low histamine stuff. It's like it's German. I have never read German. I don't think my 3 lessons on Duolingo have prepared me for this. But for iodine's table salt, it is like a 2 on the 0 to 3 scale of how high in histamine it is.
So iodine is not good?
Yeah.
For I
specifically needed like non-iodized table salt. I can get away with, like it is with the histamine bucket. Like sometimes I can get away with, let's say, getting some takeout, and it's okay that they didn't use that salt. But like on the daily, I do avoid like iodized table salt, which is tough because there's not that many other sources of iodine. So, but I had just brain fog right now.
It's okay. It's okay. So,
yeah.
So to go back to the latex allergy, detection and diagnosis. One thing that I want. Okay, so let's go to symptoms, because someone on TikTok had asked me about red and itchy skin. And I apologize if you're watching on TikTok. I know that there were a few questions that people asked on the post that I had put up promoting the live stream, letting people know, what topics we'd like us to start delving into on latex allergy. And I had to walk my dogs before the podcast so they would be quiet while I was live streaming. So I didn't get a chance to go back in and check and actually have anything prepped ahead of time. But symptoms of latex allergy, mild symptoms are going to include, can include itching, skin redness, and hives or rash, right? Now, as noted here on the website, this is generic latex rule foundation information sheet, should not be used for diagnosing allergies or treatment of any medical condition. If you have specific questions about how this relates to you or your child, ask your doctor. But I was, and I'm not kidding you, I was presenting to doctors' offices, urgent cares, and emergency rooms looking like these little animations from head to toe, having children point at me on the street and ask what was wrong with my face, and my doctor's telling me that I just needed to exercise more, eat less, and that and work on not becoming diabetic. I wasn't diabetic at the time either, and I'm like, what does this have to do with all of this? But so itching, skin redness, and hives or rash are an issue, are mild symptoms, right? More severe symptoms, and of course this is going to be on your own personal scale, because there can be some hellacious skin rashes that make life miserable. But generally speaking, when you start sneezing, getting a runny nose, itchy, watery eyes, scratchy throat, difficulty breathing, wheezing, or coughing, and I took a Benadryl when my voice started getting breaking up a little bit weird, because that happens occasionally to me, especially near the end of a live stream, which I know we have a few more minutes to go. We're going to try and stick to around an hour. And so anaphylaxis, life-threatening symptoms, okay? The most severe or serious allergic reaction to latex is anaphylaxis, which can be deadly. An anaphylactic reaction develops immediately after latex exposure or exposure to anything else that you might be anaphylactic to in highly sensitive people, but it really happens the first time you're exposed. Now, I want you to pay attention specific to this, and anybody on TikTok, seriously, you need to be looking at this. Go to YouTube, subscribe, and interact, because we're trying to get the YouTube channel on the map. And so difficulty breathing, hives, nausea and vomiting, wheezing, drops in blood pressure, dizziness, loss of consciousness, confusion, brain fog, not being able to put words together. People might think you're having a stroke, or you're drunk, or you're high. I've had all of these things. Doctors look at me and go, "Are you?" and insert one of those here. And no, I was having a latex anaphylactic reaction, rapid or weak pulse. And I'm really glad that we have rapid or weak pulse here, because some people it's not just low blood pressure. Sometimes have people react with spikes in blood pressure because of the stress to the system. And one thing that is super important to point out here is that not every anaphylactic reaction is going to present like it does in Hollywood. I've got a TikTok on this, and I've got a YouTube video on it on my channel on Chronically Spicy. That
that could be a whole podcast episode.
Yeah, that could be. We can, if we have you on again, we can do that, because but like very, very quickly, like in the shortest possible way I can explain this, is that anaphylaxis is technically defined, medically defined, as 2 or more body systems affected at once. It does not mean, because I've been in hospital, I've been in ERs and had doctors go, "Why are you here if you can still breathe?" Like literally ask me, "Why are you here if you can still breathe?" Well, that's because I knew that
I'd like to not stop breathing.
I'd like to continue doing that. Breathing's like kind of like my, it's my thing. I kind of like doing that. And so if you look here, like you see difficulty breathing, hives or swelling, that's lungs and skin involvement, nausea and vomiting, digestive and hives. So if you've got any 2 or more happening to you in this list, that is medically defined as an anaphylactic reaction. So, and not every hospital is going to take if you show up just because you threw up and you've got a rash on your arms, it's not necessarily going to be taken seriously by an emergency room. I'm not saying by any means not to go. Do what you need to do to stay safe. However, be aware that the medical staff might not be knowledgeable enough to know that 2 or more of these symptoms are medically defined as anaphylaxis. So what I've done is I've spoken with my doctor, and I know others have our own personal like latex exposure, latex reaction, anaphylaxis, like safety plan, right? So like I know that I can stay home and treat up to this point and self-treat up to this point, and whatever be if up to that point doesn't fix, then it's time to go to seek emergency services.
Yeah, and I think that the tricky thing is, like for me, I got my big sick December of 2018. It's the same year I graduated from college, so that's how I remember it. But that's like really when things took off, and then about a year later, I took allergy shots, like a little less than a year later, and I feel myself getting a little brain foggy, sorry, but
it's okay.
My point, I'll just get to the point. It's difficult because someone figuring this out now or figuring this out within the last 3 years, hint, it is difficult to always seek medical care when needed for several reasons. One of them being is if someone is immunocompromised or someone hasn't been able to do certain things to keep themselves safe. Hint. It's difficult to go, especially to a hospital, and then on top of that, the way that the hospitals are right now, with how few nurses are assigned to a ward, for example. And of course, that's not on the nurse's fault, but I've seen some nurses speak out, and it's like they're assigned 52 people. 52 patients to take care of for their shift, and it's like, that's like, what are they supposed to do if there's 2 emergencies happening at the same time?
Right.
So it's I've heard, especially in the last like month or two, people go like to the hospital or they go with their children, and they're made to like sit like outside the hospital because there's no more seating inside, or they're made to wait like 13-14 hours to receive medical care. And of course, like the workers are going to try to do whatever they can to get everyone who needs it to get the care that they need as soon as possible, to avoid that falling into worse emergencies. However, when you come in with anaphylaxis and it is not something that is well understood, and it is very serious, and maybe, you're like, hey, I wouldn't have come if it would be very serious. It is difficult to advocate for yourself in that space and make sure that you get that that treatment, whatever it is that you need, as early as you can.
Exactly. So yeah, big takeaways for today are, I think, learning your own triggers, researching, and checking, pay attention, maybe even keeping there's multiple apps you can download for symptom trackers, and food diaries. So you can kind of maybe start putting pieces of the puzzle together, because it took me a really long time to figure out that I was, that to connect bananas with sneezing fits and etc. Right. Knowing that two or more body systems affected at once are medically defined as anaphylaxis, and that you need to have a rescue plan set with your doctor. Like if your child has asthma and you've got like a little flyer on your refrigerator that says, here are the steps to follow to like figure out what you need to do. And this is when you seek emergency services. It's kind of the same thing. Have that conversation with your doctor. And you can check, there are so many, we're adding more and more to the Latex Free World Foundation blog, and the website itself, but there are a ton of options. You can get involved. You can read the blog, which I'm adding to. Recently I've only had one blog a week go up. I'm going to try and get 2 up per week. And I was thinking that the second thing I can add would be maybe questionnaires, 10 questionnaires with, Q&As with actually legit latex people. Joanna, you could be my first, and so that could be like a second blog post, so people can kind of start to see themselves and relate to other people and their experiences. And then also, it's important to know you can either donate to the Latex Free World Foundation, which would always be appreciated, and then you can get test kits, because blood testing is what is recommended for people with latex allergy. And we can get into the specifics on why on another show. But skin testing can be extremely dangerous. So if you go on to the Latex Free World Foundation and you click on the very top right under latex test kits, enter your information, it's just asked for basics: email, date of birth, city, state. Have you been tested for latex before? Are you willing to share results with Latex Free World Foundation? And then a couple of questions like do you have a family history of latex allergy, etc. And within a few business days, someone from the Latex Free World Foundation team will reach out to you and get a test to you, because the Latex Free World Foundation is sponsoring up to $5,000 of free latex testing for our followers in an effort to spread awareness and advocacy for those who have or believe they might have diagnosed latex allergy or developed latex allergy. And yes, this testing is safe. It's partnership with Quest Diagnostics. So it's a blood test. You're not like licking a balloon or anything. It's a blood test that it gets sent in, and up to $5,000 of free testing is available for people who think that they or maybe somebody in their family should be tested. Joanna, we should probably wrap up now. Why don't you tell people where they can find you, and then I can wrap up. And I definitely want to have you on again, because we have so much to talk about.
we always have fun. I'm Joanna. You can find me at Joanna No Banana on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest a little bit, and hopefully YouTube soon. Yes. I've been meaning to get to that for quite a while.
I got you here.
True. Technically already completed that goal with this conversation. But I'm available via DMs, anything somebody needs. Feel free, if voice messages are most accessible, feel free to DM me via Instagram. That's accessible for me as well, or write to me on any of the social media.
Yeah, Joanna's got a great TikTok. If you're on TikTok, I love watching your videos. And she's got like 30,000 followers on Twitter. So really great content, a great advocate. And I'm honored to have you on the show. I'm glad that we've connected, and I'm glad that this is growing into more. Hint, there will be more coming in the future on other topics that we're not going to get into now, because we want to save it for when the time is right. But latex allergy, if you've got it, definitely I would recommend following Joanna. You can find me on, like I said before, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and now YouTube, Chronically Spicy, or you can look up my name, Pauline Campos, and you should be able to find my stuff. And of course, you can find me on the Latex Free World Foundation blog. Where are we? Where is that? There we go. Blog. I am writing the Latex Free World Foundation blog posts. And of course, everything that we share is sourced and linked to reliable sources, fact-check sources, and we're trying to provide the most up-to-date and factual information to you that we possibly can. And if anything that we share is personal experience, we try to state that just to make sure that everyone knows. And the important thing is to do, keep yourself safe. So know what your limits are. I think we can wrap up now. Thank you so much for everybody who has watched and who will watch in the future. Please subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. That would really help the algorithm too. Hit the notification bell so that you don't miss future episodes. We go live every Wednesday and Friday, 5 p.m. Central Standard, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard. Sometimes I have a guest like Joanna, which was wonderful today. Thank you so much for joining us. And sometimes it's just me solo. But I had a great time today, and I really hope that our viewers enjoy this episode and that it was educational for them. So this weekend is New Year's, so maybe Friday I'll try and figure out balloons, champagne. Okay, yeah, all right. I'm working on a topic list for Friday's episode. For now, thank you so much for joining us, and we are going to be logging off. Have a